In today's video, me and Johnny are ranking every team's starting point guard for the 2023-2024 NBA season alongside Chat GPT. Let us down below in the comments if you like these lists, if you think they're rubbish. Drop a like and subscribe. Hope you're enjoying the content. This is Chat GPT's top 30 point guards for the 2023-2024 season, starting with point guards number 30 to 26. At 30, Trey Jones. 29, Scoot Henderson. 28, Keontae George. 27, Kobe White. And 26, D'Angelo Russell. Okay. Pretty interesting, right?
My 26 to 30 was 30, Scoot Henderson. 29, Keontae George. 28, Trey Jones. 27, Dennis Schroeder. And 26, Jalen Suggs.
Okay, and my 30 to 26 was Keontae George at 30. 29, Scoot. 28, Jalen Suggs. 27, Mike Conley. And 26, Trey Jones. First thing we got to point out here is the Trey Jones versus Jalen Suggs debate here.
I thought Suggs I thought he just had a better season. He was more of a leader on the Magic than Trey Jones was. And, I mean, Trey Jones, he had the assist numbers. I won't deny that, but he was a little weak from three, and Jalen Suggs was definitely better shooting on better 3-point efficiency, and he had more points. I think he contributed a little more to the team than Trey Jones did.
I think the real argument for Jalen Suggs is his defense. I think Trey Jones itself is a more efficient scorer. Of course, he's not a three-point shooter. He's a better passer. I think overall, as a point guard, he makes more sense in a role as a point guard than Jalen Suggs. I think that's why I put him at 26. I feel like I'm pretty high on Trey Jones. I think he's gonna end up being better than Jalen Suggs all time.
Yeah, I agree. But I think still, just right now, Suggs is a better player.
Okay.
I think
he's debatable.
still more just a complete player than Trey Jones is.
It's definitely a debatable topic, but Dennis Schroeder and Mike Conley, those are our two veterans that are kind of being tossed there.
I disagree with your Mike Conley pick. I think he should definitely be higher, just based on the leadership he's had with the Timberwolves, and I think he was a key part of their success in the playoffs. Yeah.
When you think of Mike Conley, you think of his leadership, and that's basically what is sustaining his position as the top, 27 and higher point guard, and maybe even for you, like a top 25 or higher point guard, right? I think that Mike Conley, he's way past his scoring days, way past his passing days. I think the point guard list is very stacked. I just don't think he stacks up against these rest of these guys. Although Dennis Schroeder, I think he does have a slightly better chance than Mike Conley.
I mean, yeah, I agree that Mike Conley, he's definitely past his prime, but I still think he's still a great player. He's still been passing fine. He's and he's basically I see him as the glue that mostly holds the Timberwolves together. So I definitely as next year he will definitely be much lower in my opinion, but I still think he's better than most of these young guys.
So you're saying Mike Conley is better than Trey Jones?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
I don't think so. Here's why. Trey Jones, I think he's been more efficient. He's been a better passer. He's been a better playmaker, and he's been more productive in his role as a point guard than Mike Conley has been. Both of them are great point guards, but I think Trey Jones has put in much more effort, has made much more of an impact for the Spurs than Mike Conley has for the Timberwolves.
He's had more impact than Mike Conley?
Yeah. I think he has a much bigger role and a much bigger impact than Mike Conley has for the Timberwolves.
I mean, Trey Jones wasn't really even starting that much. Okay, he was starting, but I mean, honestly, he wasn't even starting that much. He came off the bench for a lot of the season, so I don't see how you can argue that someone who came off the bench for 30 games, that had more of an impact than Mike Conley, who's literally
We
started
all know
pretty much
why
every
Trey
single game.
Jones came off the bench, though. Greg Popovich is doing his experiments. You really think Jeremy Sohan is a better starting point guard than Trey Jones?
I'm just saying that you can't say that he's had more impact when he hasn't
But as
started a
soon as
lot of the
Trey
games.
Jones hit the floor,
He's been averaging
we
28 minutes a
saw a lot
game.
more success from the Spurs. And we saw how much more efficient it was, how he's a much better fit next to Wemby than Jeremy Sohan was when he was playing the point guard.
And I still think that his shooting has been a big negative on his game as well.
I mean, that's not his game, but let's take a look at Chat GPT's list over here. And one thing I do gotta point out is Kobe White at 27.
Kobe White at 27 is actually crazy. I mean, he's a much more quality player than 27 for sure. I mean, I have him a lot higher.
I agree. I also think Trey Jones at 30 is a bit disrespectful. I think it's pretty
Yeah,
obvious that Keontae George and Scoot Henderson are the worst two players out of the 30. Does they go for you too,
and
Johnny? I assume so.
30 and 29. I mean, they're still rookies. They'll definitely develop. And also D'Angelo Russell at 26. I mean, maybe he wasn't the best last year, but he still does not deserve 26 for sure.
Yeah, bottom 25 position for D'Angelo Russell feels wrong when he's been putting up solid numbers. I get low efficiency. I get the low efficiency. You dock him some points. But that can't be like a below 25 position. That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't
Yeah,
make
for
sense.
sure.
Okay, so we're going to be moving on to the 25 to 21 spot here. Okay, so here's ChatGPT's top 25 to 21 point guards for the 2023-2024 NBA season. At 25, Jalen Suggs. 24, Dennis Schroeder. 23, Tyus Jones. 22, Emmanuel Quickly. And 21, Terry Rozier.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not
For
bad.
me,
It's pretty good.
for 25 to 21, it's 25 Emmanuel Quickly, 24 Tyus Jones, 23 Mike Conley, 22 D'Angelo Russell, and 21 Terry Rozier.
Okay, and mine is 25, Dennis Schroeder, 24, Tyus Jones, 23, D'Lo, 22, Terry Rozier, and 21, Emmanuel Quickly. And one big thing I have to see is Emmanuel Quickly at 25. Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, he came off the bench for the Knicks mostly, right? And so I think that just because of that, his stats dropped a bit. Not a lot. I think his stats just weren't as good as some of the others, just because of that. Like, because he just didn't get the playing time. I mean, his efficiency was good. I just thought the scoring and like the stats overall were just a lot lower. I mean, lower than the couple others.
But he developed as a playmaker alongside his like quick scoring ability. To me, he's looking like a budget Tyrese Maxey right now, which is a really good upside. Honestly, I think he should be higher than a couple of the guys you have, including Mike Conley. Like that, that's a bit absurd. I don't think he's above Tyus Jones in any way, shape, or form. But overall, we do have similar players in this range. I think we consensusly agreed that Tyus Jones is at 24. I think that makes a whole
Yeah.
lot of sense. What else? Okay, Dennis Schroeder. I had 2 spots above you. You had Mike
Mhm.
Conley 4 spots above me. I don't agree with the Mike Conley take whatsoever at all. You want to explain that?
I mean, I think I've mostly already explained it. Just because the leadership he brings, he's kind of the glue guy for the Timberwolves. I think he's just their main playmaker, the one who keeps the one who keeps all those big egos in check. Like you have Cat, you have Rudy, you have Anthony Edwards. He's like that calming factor that keeps them all in check.
Okay, okay.
But I think
Terry.
it's less of like the stats, but more of like a leadership type guy, like the type of way he plays.
I mean, if you want to use that argument to put him at 23, I can't really stop you. Great leader, honestly. Love Mike Conley. How can you not?
Mhm.
Uh, Terry Rozier. I had him at 22. You had him at 21.
Yeah. I mean,
This.
he had such a great season with the Hornets, and then going to the Heat. I mean, there was a bit of a step back, but I still think he had such a great season on the Hornets that yeah.
But again, that's just putting up numbers on a bad team. That's like Jordan Poole type
Yeah, that's
situation right
fair.
there. And how about let's take a look at ChatGPT. So Jalen Suggs quite high, honestly.
Mhm. I mean,
I
not that
think
much higher than us. I just don't think he's the top 25 player just yet. But
I agree. I agree. And let us see here. ChatGPT did a pretty good job, honestly. Tyus
mhm.
Jones higher than Dennis Schroeder. I think we both had that. Emmanuel quickly at 22. I agree more with that than you probably would. But and Terry Rozier, good spots. I think ChatGPT
Mhm.
did a good job with this one.
Yep.
Okay, so here's ChatGPT's top 20 to 16 point guards for the 2023-2024 NBA season. At number 20, Mike Conley. 19, CJ McCollum. 18, Fred Van Vliet. 17, Darius Garland. And 16, Cade Cunningham.
All right. Well, my 2016, I had Kobe White at 20, Fred VanVleet at 19, 18 C.J. McCollum, 17 Drew Holiday, and 16 James Harden.
Okay, so one thing I noticed is that you have Darius Garland very high. Uh, let me get to mine. You might not agree with this take. At number 20, Darius Garland. 19, Kobe White. 18, C.J. McCollum. 17, Fred VanVleet. 16, Cade Cunningham. And so I was saying I have Darius Garland quite low.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do have him quite low. I think that he plays a. I mean, he was injured for like a lot of this, like 20 games of the season, but I still think
Right.
he plays such a big role on the Cleveland being like the number two guy, and that like
Was
yeah,
he
his
really though?
playmaking. I
Like
mean,
I'm saying, as far what he did, he took a massive drop. Don't lie. From
he did.
2023, which is expected. You have Donovan Mitchell handling the ball now. I think that does affect his placement, right? If you have less of a role, you can't perform that much. We can't put you higher up on the list. I can't put you higher up on the list. I think players like Kobe White performed and he improved. CJ McCollum still did great. Fred VanVleet, great passer, great scorer, fits so well with the Rockets. And Cade Cunningham did a great job. I think he was very underrated in the 2023-2024 season. I think it's
Yep.
only fair that I put Darius Garland at 20. I think it only makes sense that I put him that low.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I respect him a lot, but I just think that I think he was better. He has a much bigger role than a lot of these players, and
Hmm.
that overall, from what he was given, I think he played better.
Okay. Yeah. Harden falls out of your top 15 point guards. That's what I've
Yeah,
noticed.
yeah. I mean, Harden's. I mean, he played one of the most games he's played in a long time. He's managed to stay healthy for once, but I think that just because of his lesser role, like being behind PG and Kawhi, I think he did a great job in that role. But I think that just because of his lesser role, he had the less stats. And I just think that with their bigger roles, the other players can have higher spot over him.
Okay. I see it. But one thing I thoroughly disagree is Drew Holiday. Like I don't see how you can put him only at 17. I get the stats, but he's a champion player, championship
Yeah,
player, and a great
yeah.
defender.
I had a really tough time with Drew Holiday. I mean, I didn't. It was tough because yeah, he's such a great presence defensively, and they just won a chip. So I just don't think just comparative to the rest of the point guards, he was as good because I mean yeah, he's just like he's pretty much just a great defense. Like he's not a great scorer. I mean he's not a great passer, but like just because so overall I put him lower.
I think he's a good passer, a good scorer, like a decent average one. But his rebounding as a point guard, I think, bumps him up alongside that defense. We saw that in the 2024 NBA playoffs. I think that's why I put him very high. I think we're going to see that take later on in the video. Let's talk about ChatGPT's list here. 20,
Yeah.
Mike Conley.
Yeah, Mike Conley at 20. Hey, I respect it.
I disagree. For reference, I put Mike Conley at, let's see,
27.
27. Johnny put him at 23. And ChatGPT put Mike Conley above players like Tyus Jones, Dennis Schroeder, Jalen Suggs, Emmanuel Quickly, and Terry Rozier. for your information, alongside Kobe White and Trey Jones. Those are other players that he put Mike Conley above.
Yeah,
That
I
is.
mean, I don't know how Chat GPT sees it, but it's the leadership, man. I'm telling you.
I don't think it should be that high, but okay. Overall, their list is pretty good. I
I
think
mean,
the
yeah,
Cade pick. We've already discussed the.
we all had like Kobe White, Fred, CJ. I mean, you'll see later, but I had Kate around the same spot. Like,
Yeah.
overall, it's pretty even. I mean,
We've already discussed the Darius Garland situation and why I put him so low. They
yeah.
put him at 17 above Fred and CJ. Just arguable. But I think Kobe White should be in this spot, 22, top 20 at least. Like, I feel like it's a bit disrespectful putting on at 27 and having Mike Conley at 20.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think that you put my comment too low, but way too low.
I think that's a fair rating. Statistically, that's where it makes sense. That's where it makes the most sense. So
I can see him being there in like next year or a couple years, but I just don't see him being there yet.
it's up to argument. Let us know down in the comments, where do you think Mike Conley should be. We're moving on to the top 15 now. Let's get started. Here is ChatGPT's top 15 to 11 point guards of the 2023-2024 NBA season. Number 15, LaMelo Ball. 14, James Harden. 13, Drew Holiday. 12, Tyrese Maxey. 11, De'Aaron Fox. I think that's a
Okay.
great list. I disagree
Yeah,
with one player. We'll
honestly,
get to that, though.
probably the
Johnny,
best
go
one
ahead.
that ChatGPT's had so far.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, okay, so my 15 is Kate Cunningham, 14 Darius Garland, 13 LaMelo Ball, 12 Jamal Murray, and 11 Tyrese Maxey.
Okay, and my 15 is LaMelo Ball. 14, James Harden. 13, Drew Holiday. 12, Jamal Murray. And 11, Tyrese Maxey. So, off the bat, you can kind of see me and ChatGPT are agreeing with the 15 to 13 pick.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's pretty similar. I mean, all three of us, we got Maxey. We both have Jamal Murray. I mean, Mikey Cunningham was around where you guys had him as well.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball was around Chile.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all
overall,
have the
pretty
players around the
pretty
same
similar.
area. Again, for your knowledge, Johnny doesn't have James Harden and Drew Holiday up here because he put him at 16 and 17 and chose players like Cade Cunningham and Darius Garland over them. Johnny, you want to explain that?
I mean, again, I've already talked about this, but this his increased role in Cleveland. I mean, I think he was definitely set back from his injury, which is why he wasn't as performing as well as he was before. But I think that he's just overall just a better player than the rest of them.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. So I
And
put. You might be wondering where's Darius Garland for me. I put him at number 20. Below players like Kobe White, C.J. McCollum, and Fred VanVleet because of his lesser role. But that's all. That's all in the past. Let us.
I mean, also we can talk about ChatGPT having De'Aaron Fox at 11. I
I
mean,
think that's
I think
disrespectful.
it's a little disrespectful to get him out of the top 10, but I think that it should be around there, but I just think that he should be top 10 for sure.
I think to me he's guaranteed a top 10 spot. I think just because of that. That's the one thing I disagree with ChatGPT here. It's the De'Aaron Fox pick. I have him way higher. Way higher. I think I have him way higher than all of you guys. So we'll see. We'll see once we get to the top 10. Overall, though, I think all of us did a great job with the 15 to 11 spots.
Yeah, we're all around the same spot. I mean, Drew Holiday over James Harden. You want to explain that maybe?
I think Drew Holiday's championship defense, his rebounding, and his overall impact for the Boston Celtics is what makes him above James Harden. We can see like both of them statistically should not be in this position really, but they all both had massive impacts for the team. But one impacted a team that could sometimes make it to finals and very easily underperform destroy, just dominate, absolutely dominate every single team in the playoffs and win a championship, while the other brought back another first round playoff loss, even though it was not really his fault.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Okay, so moving on to the top 10 now. Here is Chat GPT's top 10 to 6 point guards of the 2023-2024 NBA season. Starting with number 10, Jamal Murray. 9, Trae Young. 8, Tyrese Halliburton. 7, Damian Lillard. 6, Jalen Brunson. Wow.
That's pretty
Okay.
interesting. But
That's
my 6 to 10 is 10, De'Aaron Fox. 9, Trae Young. 8, Tyrese Halliburton. 7, John Morant. And 6, Damian Lillard.
these lists, man. These lists. Okay, number 10, Tyrese Halliburton. 9, Damian Lillard. 8, Trae Young. 7, John Morant. And 6, De'Aaron Fox. So, I think the obvious thing we can see here, I had De'Aaron Fox at 6. ChatGPT had him at 11. And
I am at 10.
Johnny had him at 10. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that De'Aaron Fox is like top 8 just yet. I mean, he had a great season. I will deny that. He's was a great scorer, like averaging 27 points.
yeah.
And but I just think that he a bit lower because I don't think he was the best player on that team. I think that went to Sabonis, and as well, I don't think he shot very well. He got 37% from three, and I just think that he can if he improves his shot, and I think if he surpasses Sabonis as I think he was the number one offense on uh number one option on offense, but I think that Sabonis was still overall the better player. So if he turns into the best player on that team and he develops more of a shot, then I'd say he deserves to be higher up.
I mean, yeah, I agree Sabonis was overall the better player for the team, but I don't see Sabonis on this list, and overall, I think De'Aaron Fox had a massive impact for the Kings. And when I look at like players that you have over him, like Trae Young and Damian Lillard, both of them did not. They were great offensively. They were on par, in my opinion, to De'Aaron Fox offensively, but overall their defensive effort was lackluster compared to De'Aaron Fox's. In fact, they were some of the worst defensive performances we've seen in the season, including Tyrese Halliburton. He's a great passer. I think he's a definition. He's an epitome of what a point guard should be. Pass first player that can score and shoot. I think overall the list is good. I think De'Aaron Fox is very underrated. And I think he should be higher than Damian Lillard and Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Tyrese Halliburton deserved to be up there just because of how much of a pure point guard that I think he is. Just because, like, he averaged the most assists in the NBA with 11 assists per game, and like, yeah, he, as you said, he's such a great offensive player. Like, he's a great shot. He can pass, he can score. Like, that's why, and he was like that guy for most of the season until Siakam came, so that's why I put him at 8.
Okay. Damian Lillard at 6 to me is kind of crazy when really it made it look like it seemed like the Bucks were worse with him than Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I mean, but he still added so much more offense to the team, and well, I agree that they should have kept Drew and they should not have traded for Damian Lillard. I still think that he was still a great player, and like he had a great offensive presence, and I think he was really good for the team, even though not being the number one option.
I mean, hey, they lost to the Pacers, so they lost in the first round. I just don't think Damian Lillard should be the 6th spot. I feel generous giving him the 9th spot, honestly. I felt like Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey could even go above him. But overall, I think Damian Lillard deserves to be in this top 10. I don't think 6. I think 6 is a bit crazy. We both agree on John Morant.
hmm
Clearly, ChatGPT has believes more in John Morant than we do.
I mean,
But
if if we were talking if we were talking like he was playing the entire season, like we saw his 10-game spurt, he was amazing. But he
I
was
agree.
just the fact that he was injured the entire season
For
that knocked
sure.
him down a couple times. I think that he definitely could be a top 5 point guard. Just he wasn't just because of injuries.
I agree. I think injuries really did hold him back. I think that's what makes him outside of that top 5 spot. And let's talk about the most vile pick of this draft.
I
Not
mean,
even draft, this list.
one more thing about John Morant. I think that if we were doing like overall, he probably would be like if we were talking about um like overall, like if we weren't talking about injuries, if we're just talking about overall, he'd definitely be. I think he'd definitely probably be higher up just because yeah, it's his explosive power. He can shoot. He has the entire package.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
true.
was
That's
literally
true.
just the injuries that I had him out of my top 5.
I think okay. Yeah, I agree with that. But Chat GPT, come on, Jalen Brunson at 6.
Yeah, I mean, with his amazing playoff run and how he was playing with an injured Knicks squad, I think he definitely deserves to be top 5.
I
I
think
mean,
he
him
easily
added
deserves
to
to be
top
top
5 is
5.
pretty disrespectful, I think.
Yeah, to be honest, Jalen Brunson it was one of the best point guards of the NBA, and he is in my top 5 pretty easily, without question. I think overall team success, player success in the playoffs, and what he has achieved this season kind of clearly makes him a top 5 player and better than John Morant, which ChatGPT doesn't agree, but we'll see here
Yeah.
going into this top 5. Here is ChatGPT's top 5 point guards for the 2023-2024 NBA season. And number 5, Devin Booker. And yes, he played the point guard for the Suns this season. Number 4, John Morant. 3, Steph Curry. 2, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 1, Luka Doncic.
All right. My top 5 is Booker at 5, Brunson at 4, Steph at 3, Shea at 2, and Luka at 1.
Okay, I have a hot take here. 5, Devin Booker. 4, Steph Curry. 3, Jalen
Wow.
Brunson. 2, Shea. And 1, Luka. Okay,
I mean,
so
we got to talk about it. Steph
yeah, we
Curry
do got to talk about
under
it,
Jalen Brunson. That's
and I'll
crazy.
explain my reasoning. Okay, if we look at the stats, Jalen Brunson scored more than Steph Curry. He had more assists. He was a better playmaker, and he was much more efficient than Steph Curry. We look at the
I mean,
playoffs. Jalen Brunson had better success as a player. Consecutive, I think it was what was it, 7 consecutive 40-point games to the playoffs. No one's done that since Michael Jordan, who is arguably the greatest player of all time. Arguably, LeBron. Steph Curry didn't even make the playoffs. In fact, the Warriors and him were a playoff team. So I don't really see overall how you can put Steph Curry ahead of Jalen Brunson simply because of overall player success and team success.
all right. Well, and Steph Curry in the defense of Steph Curry, he's playing with. Okay, let's just say he's playing with Draymond, who got ejected like twice that season. He's playing with Klay Thompson, who went over 10 in that elimination game, has been playing terrible the entire season. And Wiggins, who has not showed up at all. Like his team has been so bad that like he has to carry all on his own, which is I think what is hurting his stats because the teams can focus because then since the rest of the team's playing so bad, teams can focus him on defense, which limits his shots and which limits what he can do. And even if he's getting good assists, and he's still playing well, without the rest of his team, that's why I didn't have a lot of team success, which is one of the points what you said against Steph. And also, you said that Steph didn't even make the playoffs. Well, that's because of that terrible team. And also, in that game, where in that playing game, Clay went 0 for 10, which is not Steph Curry's fault. So it's not Steph's fault that they did not make the playoffs. And I just think overall Steph was much better last season than Jalen Brunson. I don't think it's even a conversation. Just from
But
what he was
team
given.
success does play a part. You can't deny that. It's the reason why we had Jamal Murray over a player like Cade Cunningham, even though Cade Cunningham had better
Do
stats
you
than
think
Jamal
Cade
Murray.
Cunningham is better than Jamal Murray?
Huh? He had better stats than Jamal Murray, but I put Jamal Murray higher because of his team success
There's no
and
way you
how he
can argue
contributed.
that Cade Cunningham is better than Jamal Murray.
Look at the stats.
That's not. You
Statistically,
can't
Cade
argue
is
that.
better. I put
You
Jamal Murray
cannot
higher because
argue
he
that.
had a bigger impact for his team. Team success does play a part, and Steph Curry, the Warriors, did not make it that high up in the standings in the Western Conference. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks were a second seed. Jalen Brunson was clutch during the playoffs when nobody was showing up offensively for them in those playoff games against the Sixers and the Pacers. And ultimately, because nobody was showing up, is why they lost to the Pacers. It's the same situation Steph Curry was in. His team wasn't showing up offensively, yet they, instead of making it to a playoff position, they couldn't make it in high enough in the play-in to make it to the playoffs. I don't think it makes sense to have him as a top 3 point guard when his team is the 10 seed. I feel like, even though it's a hot take, I agree. I think Jalen Brunson's a better player than Steph Curry.
I mean, comment what you think down below, but it's definitely a hot take.
Definitely a hot take.
Other than that, we have we still have Devin Booker, Shea and Luka, of course, MVP candidates. The only difference from our list is John Morant from Chat GPT.
Yeah, I think that was quite high. I don't think they were quite looking at the fact that again, including team success, the Grizzlies were a bottom seed team in the league, and Ja Morant didn't play as much. Those all were factors on why we put Ja Morant not in the top 5, even though I think he has potential to be in the top 5
Definitely
if he's
next
healthy.
year, if he plays like he had been playing for those 10 games, he could definitely be top 5.
Yeah, for sure. So overall, let us know down below whose list you think was better, mine, Johnny, or do you think ChatGPT actually took the cake here? If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you could subscribe and like, see you all in the next video.